Hello and welcome to the March Michigan Financial Wellness Network monthly partner coffee chat. My name is Kelly Masters, as you undoubtedly know, and today we have a very special guest from the Foundation for Economic Education, Morgan Worthy. However, I have a few important and timely updates that I will share first, and then we're going to get right into the meat of our meeting with Morgan to share with us the amazing resources that her organization has to offer to Michigan partners at no cost. So she'll tell you more about that. And if you could, just to make this the most meaningful time together as possible for those who are on the live meeting, if you could rename yourself to include your organization name, that would be super helpful. Typically, I know who you are, but not everyone else in the meeting knows, what organization you represent. So if you could take a second and just rename yourself, there's the on the participant list, I think you can go in and the three little dots will allow you to rename yourself and just add your organization name. That would be great. So while you're doing that, I will go ahead and get us started with a few important Michigan updates of some of our flagship programming. And hopefully my advance will work. There we go. I have to say a huge thanks to our underwriting partners, those who are back on board for 2023. I'm excited to announce that Ally Financial has come back, and I'll tell you a little bit about their primary underwriting support that sponsors a brand new Money Magic Show, Adventures with Money Magic Show. Thanks to Anthem Advisors, my girl Colleen is back and supporting the FemPreneur Summit, which I'll share more about with you in a moment as well. And her contacts with Funding the Future, we're going to give you an update on what's happening there. Lake Trust Credit Union is new this year, and we're super excited to have them aboard and participating in the FemPreneur Summit a week from today, next Wednesday, March 8th. Michigan Credit Union Foundation and Michigan's credit unions are again supporting our Smart Money Michigan Kids Read. That is, again, something coming to fruition this week. So I'll tell you what's happening there. Raymond James has been a fantastic foundational support for what we do year round with the Michigan Financial Wellness Network. And of course, thanks to our fiscal agent, Michigan Council on Economic Education, and their 501c3 status and helping us behind the scenes. Our FemPreneur Summit is March 8th, and we have just under 25 tickets remaining available. So if anyone watching or listening would like to attend this year, the lineup is probably the most powerful that I have seen in the 8 or 9 years that I've been doing this event. So very, very much looking forward to this powerful day of learning and growing together with other female entrepreneurs from Southeast Michigan and beyond. So we do have a couple exhibit tables still available. If you're interested in that, we have a couple spaces that have not been reserved, and that's only a $100 fee, which includes lunch and tables and all the sessions and all of that. You can email myfinancialwellness@gmail.com. That's myfinancialwellness@gmail.com. If you need the sponsorship packet or the links to where to register as a participant. Thanks, as I said a moment ago, to our elite sponsor, Lake Trust Credit Union, and to our Summit Marketplace sponsor, Anthem Advisors of Raymond James. And here is the lineup. And this is just, 15 or 16 of the women who will be participating in next Wednesday's event. And they all have their own amazing journeys to share. They have their own expertise that they were bringing to the day. We have a series of 3 different panels, all around the theme of elevate yourself, elevate business, and elevate your goals and dreams. And then we also have some focus sessions that will be happening in between those panels. So, and that's all in addition to our robust exhibitor marketplace, as well as a fantastic lunch by Everyday Edibles and Carol, who is also a fempreneur herself. And I can answer questions about any of this toward the end of the meeting, but I just want to get through these important housekeeping details so that we can get to Morgan's piece of the meeting. Our Smart Money Michigan Kids Read. Folks, we are here after a 3-year journey of bringing this original book to life. We are scheduled tomorrow, Friday, March 3rd, to do the sorting and packing of the 9,000 copies that will go out to libraries across the state of Michigan. We had over 160 requests, which is a lot more individual library locations than that, because one library request could represent a system of, say, 10 or 15 or even 22 libraries. So those books will be headed out to participating libraries on Monday, March 6th. In the back of the book, we have a glossary of 6 different terms that relate back to the book. That's embedded in the book itself. We have an activity idea supplement that is nearing completion with a few minor tweaks that I'm still making, and that will be ready to be emailed out to libraries probably by Monday or by next Friday. So probably by March 10th is the goal for that. And then special thanks to the Novi Library for their partnership and willingness to be the recipient of our actually 15,000 copies that we've ordered, and to our small but mighty team from Community Financial Credit Union that will help us with breaking that master order down into 160 individual requests. And then, of course, we couldn't do this without our underwriting from Michigan Credit Unions and my task force, who helped us put this original book together, or actually review the various editions. So we had representation from 2 libraries, the Library of Michigan, Kalamazoo Schools, and the Credit Union Foundation. So thanks to all who are making this possible, and everything is on schedule, amazingly. And hopefully we'll have these all headed out to participating libraries on Monday. So however long it normally takes for the interlibrary delivery system to take place from Novi to your location, libraries, that's when you can expect to receive the books. Janet, let's you and I chat offline, but probably yes. Instead of doing it tomorrow, I think is what you're asking me, then let's you and I communicate maybe by email. Send me an email and I'll follow up with Novi when I'm there tomorrow. Okay, funding the future. I don't think Cheryl was able to be here today, so I got updates from her. So funding the future, for those who are not aware, is a financial literacy program, but it is music based. So there are rock and rollers, 2 groups. This year we have Gooding coming to Michigan, and they will be performing live at scheduled middle and high schools in Michigan. And then following their concert, their rock and roll concert with their original music, it is not music about money, but it is their actual recorded music that they perform, which kind of brings the walls down with the teens in attendance, and they're open to the message. And the band leader, Gooding himself, comes out and he talks about very real life, real world financial matters that are relevant to a teenage audience. So he touches on mistakes that he made as a young man, things he wishes he knew when he was their age, the importance of saving and not spending all your money on all the latest gadgets. He talks about payday lending. He talks about, turning 18 and the ability to get an IRA, and the participating teenagers absolutely love it. So the Michigan tour coming this spring, we have only a couple of dates still available. We have shows booked, and you'll see the list there: Saline High School, 2 in Walled Lake, Northern, West Bloomfield, John Page Middle School, Chippewa Valley, Clinton High School, Howell High School, and then I'm super excited to say that we got a show scheduled for Academy of the Americas in Southwest Detroit. So that's a brand new location for us. They're also doing a special concert at Michigan State University for their Exploration Days, which is for teenagers 12 to 18, I believe, and that's happening the 21st of June. So if you work with high schools, that might be open and interested to hosting one of these financial literacy rock concerts, please let us know. You can contact me and I'll put you in touch with their scheduler. Essentially, we have openings on May 1st and 2nd at this point without any other shows in place, except perhaps something happening in Kalamazoo on the 2nd. That was tentatively being planned. And then the possibility for a second show on the dates listed there. We could do a second show on April 26th, 27th, and May 4th and 5th, depending on location, because it does take quite a while to set up all the sound and stuff to do the show, and then of course the tear down and travel. So and incredible that the funding for these shows comes from our sponsors. So our Raymond James offices, again led by Colleen Schoen of Anthem Advisors, and other Raymond James offices, they underwrite the $3,500 per show cost to take these into our high schools here in Michigan. So time is of the essence on this one, because obviously, you know, August 26th is right around the corner. And so let me know if you have any high school contacts in mind that you think might be interested in learning more, and we can take it from there. All right, very excited to share with you updates on our magic show. As I mentioned in the beginning, we have a brand new show being developed around the lessons taught in the Adventures with Money books that Ally Financial developed. And so our spaceman Joel is developing a new magic show. We used to do, you know, and he still has the Smart Money Magic Show, but we're now converting that and creating a new show around Adventures with Money with a space theme, because Planet Z is where the characters of these books reside, and they have a money tree, and they learn lessons about, you know, the value of money and not spending all your money, and eventually that money tree doesn't produce any more leaves, which are their currency. And so our Planet Z friends and their human friends learn lots of money lessons throughout the adventures contained in these books. And so Adventures with Money Magic Show is available for kindergarten through 5th grade. It's designed to be a school-wide assembly, targeting specifically low to moderate income elementary schools in Southeast Michigan and Flint. It's a 55-minute program, which includes the reading of one of those Adventures with Money storybooks immediately before the magic show itself. And so an Ally Financial team member will come into the school to read the story, which is probably, you know, 12 minutes in length. And then Joel takes over as Spaceman Joel and does the magic show. And each of his segments, roughly 5-minute magic segments in this show, each teaching one of the lessons that is touched upon in the story with Zora and all of the friends and the characters in the books. So we have dates available. It's a pretty wide window intentionally, so that schools have the opportunity to book around their school, you know, recess, vacation, you know, vacation breaks, around standardized testing, which usually happens for all the schools in April at different times. So now that we are completely independent as the Michigan Financial Wellness Network, we have the opportunity to offer dates in a much wider window than we had historically. So we are currently accepting requests. And I have a Google form that can be filled out by qualified schools, and they submit their request and indicate to us which of those dates would work in their school schedule. And then I contact them one-on-one to set it up on the date and time that works for them. So we can do a magic show as early as, you know, 9 a.m. after they've done roll call and taken attendance. We can do a second show if it's, you know, in a nearby location at, say, you know, 10:30 or 11 o'clock. And then we can even do a third show after lunch. Again, proximity matters, because there is a, you know, half-hour setup. Then the show, the assembly is 55 minutes, and then there's a a 30-minute tear down, and then of course travel to the next location. But I'm excited to say, I think I see Demetrius on the call, who is our rock star from Ally Financial. And I just checked, and we have our 5th request. So I already have 3 schools that are booked in Southwest Detroit to receive the show. And then I just saw that we got 2 more requests overnight. So I will follow up with them and get them on the calendar. So super excited to offer this to our low-income elementary schools. And I should say also that in those hosting schools, copies of the Adventures with Money book will also be given for 1st through 3rd graders to take home and keep and add to their home library. So if you have any questions about, getting this into an elementary school that maybe you work with, or you have a granddaughter that goes to, or whatever, as long as they have a 51% free reduced lunch or breakfast participation, then we can probably get this to their students. Staff loves it as much as the kids do. All right, so my last point is that all of your questions or suggestions, if we don't get to them today, you can always email me at mifinancialwellness@gmail.com. Going forward, the next, April, May, and June meetings will go back to Wednesdays. Again, today was just an anomaly because of a conflict that I had. And so please make sure that those dates of April 5th, May 3rd, and June 7th are on your calendar, and get yourself registered so that you have the Zoom links to participate. I've also been cleaning up our database. So please make sure that you are opening the emails that I send, because if someone hasn't even looked at an e-newsletter in 3 or 4 months, I'm going to start archiving them, because I only want to be sending information to people who want it. So I've been doing a lot of database cleanup, and want to make sure that those of you who are engaged in our monthly meetings are aware that I'm doing that, so that you can make sure that you're at least opening the emails, so that I see that you want to continue receiving them. All right, with that, if anyone has questions and wants to unmute, you can do that while I turn the controls over to Morgan with the Foundation on Economic Education. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question, or if you want to put something in the chat. I'm going to stop sharing. And so, Morgan, you can take it over from here.
No questions. Just wanted to say thank you for the update and all the great work you're doing with the magic shows. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Demetrius.
All right, everyone. Good morning.
Morgan, I can see your slides. There you go. Now it's full screen. Awesome.
Okay, wonderful. The box with the faces was hiding the right button.
Well, I'm going to mute myself. So if you will just, kind of tell everybody who you are, and then go ahead and tell us about your amazing organization and the resources that you shared with me. I'm going to mute myself and take it away.
Okay, thank you so much, Kelly. As Kelly said, my name is Morgan Worthy. I am an outreach associate with the Foundation for Economic Education. For those of you who know my colleague, Derek D'Angelo, I know he usually attends these meetings, but he is at a conference today. He works at FEE with me for his 9-to-5 job, and all of the great work that he does with the Michigan Council is on the side. So it was a funny coincidence. He didn't connect me to Kelly. She found me on her own, but it was a nice coincidence. So if you have any questions about anything that I talk about today, and you lose my contact info for whatever reason, you can always reach out to Derek, and he can connect us again if you know him. So I'm going to share a little bit about what FEE is, who we are, what we do, and how we can help students in Michigan improve their financial literacy. So let's see. All right. So who are we and what do we do? FEE is a 501c3 nonprofit educational foundation. We were founded in 1946. So for over 75 years, we've been, doing what we're doing. That has changed a lot. Our mission has always been to connect students, the youngest generation of students, with economic and financial principles so that they can live their best life, basically. And the way that we have been doing that has changed a lot since we first started over 75 years ago. But the heart of our mission is the same. And that's just, again, helping students get all of the economic education, financial literacy and financial wellness, and trying to ignite, a sense of entrepreneurial spirit and individualism in them so that they can, again, just set them up for success. So what I'm going to talk about mostly today is our student programs, which is the team that I work for. Our student programs are basically, they're very similar to some of the other things that Kelly has already talked about today, like the Money Magic Show and even the Gooding, the concerts. We do a similar type thing, but we offer programs virtually or in person. So I'll talk a little bit about the differences there. And then we also have a great online bank of resources for teachers, community leaders, anyone who is interacting with students in any way, or, even is interacting with teachers. I would definitely recommend that you point them in this direction. So like I said, I'll talk a little bit about our student programs first. The way that our student programs work is, for in-person, we send someone out, one of our trained speakers. All of our speakers are experts in their field. So for economics, finance, and history and other social studies, we have a little bit of even philosophy too. Those speakers are all college professors with PhDs. And our entrepreneurship speakers are successful entrepreneurs who have started their own business, run their own business, and are successful in their own right. So all of our programs, whether they're in person or virtual, give students the opportunity to hear from, the basically people who have reached the top level of expertise in their field, depending on, what the subject is. For in-person programs, they obviously come in person, and we ask for a minimum of 60 students to be present. And all of these resources, everything that fee does, including, in-person programs, virtual programs, and our online bank of resources, is all free to you. So the student minimums that are attached to both in-person programs and webinars are just related to the kind of cost per student that we need to meet, because we are compensating our speaker and covering their travel when they do an in-person program. So that's where those student minimums come from. If for whatever reason people are interested in an in-person program and they maybe want to do multiple sessions, but with less than 60, we do have some flexibility there. So we can always talk about that. These are not hard and fast. There is some flexibility here, but these are our general kind of recommendations. So, and you can also choose, like it says here on the screen, if you'd like to have multiple people come out and do a few different presentations, we can send more than one speaker in person. This is a really popular option for folks who are planning some kind of student-oriented conference. I work a lot with school districts or foundations that host kind of, student workshops, and they want to have a variety of speakers for students to hear from. So that's a good kind of example case study of what we do for in-person programs. And then for webinars, I typically work with teachers who, on a daily basis, this is what I do the most. I do more webinars than in-person programs. And, teachers say, I teach business, first period, second period, and third period, and I want to have the same presentation in all 3 class periods. So, we set up 3 different sessions. They're all going to be the same with the same speaker, and they'll all be same content. And for online programs, we just ask for a minimum of 15 students. And I should have clarified this earlier, but we work with middle school students, high school students, and college students as well. So our kind of general range is from age 11 to 26. So if you have a group of 10-year-olds and they really want to learn, we won't turn you away. So again, those are kind of our recommendations, but they're not hard and fast. We can definitely work with you if you have a group, and this also doesn't have to take place in a typical school structure. If you are a community leader, if you're involved in a religious organization, or if you put on student programs through your work with the bank or with the library or any of those kinds of things, we're more than happy to work with concentrated groups of children, no matter kind of who the adult in charge of them is. So again, all different walks of the community, that's totally fine. Our end goal at the end of the day is just to get our content in front of students and to help the adults who are responsible for these students get a little bit of relief and reprieve, especially when working with teachers. But yeah, so that's kind of the differences between our in-person programs and our webinars, and a little bit about how those work. And then I will go into the specific topics that we have. In general, we have flagship programs, which are these 4 categories here: economics and government. We have 4 different sessions of economics and government. We have our financial literacy course, which is called What You Need to Know About Money Before 20. I will go into a little bit more detail about that in just a second, because I know that's going to be really important, probably the most interesting one for this group. And What You Need to Know About Money Before 20 is our most popular, most requested course. So that is definitely a great one to start with. We have Revolution of One, which is our entrepreneurship series. We have 3 courses within the Revolution of One category. And something special about the Revolution of One program in particular is that it is geared towards students from historically disadvantaged backgrounds. We really want to get this content in front of them and help them improve their circumstances in life. So that's another thing to look at there. And then we also have three different courses under economic history of the US. So this just takes history and looks at specific events from an economic perspective, or it highlights the economic factors behind different events in US history. So I will focus in on this one for just a second. What you need to know about money before 20. This course was developed by Professor Art Carden. He is a professor of finance at Stanford University. So he has a PhD. He developed this content for us. And like I said before, it is our most popular requested course. And you can see here on the screen just some of the 9th to 12th grade standards that are covered. So earning income, buying goods and services, using credit, protecting and insuring. It gives a little bit of an intro to investing, and it gives an overview also for things like insurance, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. We also have other finance courses that are not what I like to call our flagship courses, but they focus in more on specific issues. So for example, we have a course on stocks and bonds, and it's the whole class, all 50 minutes to an hour, just is about stocks and bonds. Whereas this one, What You Need to Know About Money Before 20, obviously gives a more general overview since it covers all of these standards listed here. In another example would be cryptocurrency. And that's a pretty popular one right now with kids. They want to hear about crypto, understand it more, know what it is, and decide whether or not it's a smart investment for them. So that's another example of what we like to call a custom program. It's something that's not one of our flagship programs that I was talking about on the last slide, but it is something that we offer. So I should mention that if there's a specific topic that you're looking for under the wheelhouse of economics, finance, entrepreneurship, history, social studies, philosophy, politics, whatever it is, we can probably create a custom program for you if we don't already have one. And I have a very extensive list of about 150 different courses that we've offered in the past. But again, just because for the sake of brevity, we typically only advertise the ones that were on the previous slide, the flagship programs. But just because it's not on there doesn't mean we don't have anything, and doesn't mean we can't do it. And I thought I had a slide in here for Revolution of One, but maybe not. Oh, here it is. So Revolution of One, the alternate title for Revolution of One is Unleash Your Inner Entrepreneur. And again, it kind of combines the ideas of entrepreneurship with personal development and self-improvement, because we know, especially, some of the femtrepreneurs that you all will hear from next week, half of being a business owner is believing in yourself and having your own kind of principles and motivation and things like that. So what we cover in this course, Unleash Your Inner Entrepreneur, is just some economic principles, some entrepreneurial principles, learning how to kind of tell your story, what makes you special, what makes you unique. But this is also really effective, even though, it's presented with a specific purpose, to be an entrepreneur, to make money, to get your idea out there in the world. It is also really powerful for students because it helps them reflect more on themselves, more on their unique strengths, their unique talents. So this is a really uplifting program, and it's also really, really fun. Our students absolutely love the entrepreneurship series. We have a 3-part series that is one of our most popular as well. So I will do a brief little intro on the Learning Center. This is actually the team that is headed by Derek. So if you know Derek, you should definitely ask him about the great work that he's doing. And he can give you a little bit more overview, but I would be doing him a disservice if I didn't give you a quick preview now. So Derek runs our Learning Center team, which, in addition to having a wonderful, wonderful online bank of resources, he also works with school districts, state boards of education, specific schools, and teacher conferences to do teacher professional development and lesson demos, workshops, all that kind of stuff to help teachers basically, teach economics and finance better. But those are typically in person, but the Learning Center is online. You can access it at any time. All you have to do is make a free account. The website's down there, and I also have a QR code on the next slide, and I will send this presentation to Kelly so that she can attach it to your meeting wrap up and newsletter follow up. But yeah, the Learning Center has a ton of resources. So if you know any teachers, if you work with students yourself and you're responsible for teaching this content, you should definitely check it out. It's all free. It has lesson plans, articles, activities, games, digital media like videos, podcasts, articles, all that kind of stuff. So it's really, really beneficial. And, you know, all the content is already there for you. You just need to pull it out and use it, basically. So here are two QR codes. The one on the left takes you to our it's our version of the Google form to request a program. You know, all you have to do is kind of put in the topic that you're interested in and that kind of thing. So if you have children or grandchildren, or you know, just any children in your life, and or you want to pass this on to a school or something like that, or another community group that you work with, we would love to work with your students. And then the QR code on the right is for the Learning Center that I just talked about. And again, all you have to do there is just make a free account, and all of the digital resources will be at your fingertips. So here is my contact information. Again, I work with the team that's responsible for bringing these student programs in front of students, in person or online. One of our best entrepreneurship speakers is actually coming to Michigan the second week of April. He'll be there. He will be in the kind of like north suburbs of Detroit. I'm not very familiar with Michigan geography,
It's
but
okay.
Kelly can help me out. But he will be speaking at schools in the kind of Sterling Heights area. So we still do have 2 spots open for the week that he's supposed to be there. So if you know anyone in that area, it doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't even have to be right there. You know, we can travel for one day. We would love to get his content in front of students up there while he's there. He went to Michigan, I think the first week of February, and he did a similar kind of tour, and he was so popular that they wanted to have him back already in April. So we would love to get 2 more schools in there while we're going to be up there. So if you have any ideas, please reach out to me. But again, I love our virtual programs because they're really easy to set up. Anyone can access them. All you need is a computer that can join Zoom, and 15 students, and the students don't have to have their own computers or anything like that. But yeah, I think that's a pretty solid overview of who we are, what we do, and how we can help you, specifically how I can help you. And please reach out to Derek if you have more interest in the online resources that his team develops, because they're really, really outstanding for economics and finance and a little bit of history as well. So, but yeah, if anyone has any questions for me, feel free to take yourself off mute, and I can answer those. If not, I'll make sure that this presentation gets to all of you, and I look forward to hearing from you. And I want to thank Kelly for inviting me here and giving me some of the time in your monthly meeting.
Thanks, Morgan. Yeah, and just to keep it simple, if after this meeting, anyone wants, to be put in touch with Morgan, you can always just contact me as well, as kind of the hub of the spokes on that wheel. And I'm happy to connect you with her and Fee, or Funding the Future for the Gooding Tour, or any of the things that we covered today. I'm happy to be the conduit. Does anyone have specific questions for Morgan? I'll let that sit there for just a second.
I was just kind of curious who she mentioned the gentleman coming, that's the popular speaker for the entrepreneurship series or conference. Is he an entrepreneur himself, or what topic does he what does he talk about? What's his talk? I'm just curious how
definitely. So his name is Tunji Adebayo. He is a former teacher in Atlanta Public Schools. I should have mentioned this earlier, but Fee is based in Atlanta. We do have employees who work remotely across the country, since COVID. Before that, I think everyone worked in Atlanta, but not anymore. So he is based in Atlanta though. And he left the public school system and he started his own kind of company. It's called Rhyme LLC. And he basically said, you know, I love teaching and I love connecting with students. He is an African-American man, and he worked with students in Title I schools. So he really wanted to continue mentorship. So that's what he does through his Rhyme LLC company. And we kind of got connected to him just because, like I mentioned before, he is a Revolution of One speaker. So that is our program that is targeted towards students from historically disadvantaged backgrounds, primarily African Americans, but also Hispanic students. So he was just kind of running in the same digital space as some of our other Revolution of One creators. You know, the creator of our Revolution of One curriculum, his name is TK Coleman. He is on the Minimalist podcast. If you've ever heard of that, they also have a Netflix show. So they kind of were in the same digital space. They got connected, and then we said, yeah, we'd love to bring you on board. So all of our speakers work with us as contractors, which is a good thing to know. So they're not technically fee employees, they're contractors with fee. And then, you know, we pay them for their time. For big in-person programs, we pay them per student, which is really great for them. It gives them incentive to, you know, take some of our bigger programs. And you know, what made Tunji's program so successful, I think, in the Utica schools was he was in auditoriums for all of these schools, but he really, you know, he got off the stage, he walked through the crowds, he was really connecting with students. And I think the presentation that he did at 3 of the 4 schools in February was about multiple intelligences and like finding your own intelligence. And you know, he kind of did a little bit of experiments with the students. I have a whole folder of you know, kind of like amateur pictures and one video from his presentation. And I also have a testimonials document. It's in that folder. So I'll make sure that gets to Kelly as well. And you guys can look at it. But yeah, he basically, you know, he talks about helping students kind of reflect on themselves, but in a productive way. He's a really good facilitator at student reflection and kind of that positive mindset, growth mindset, which is really big. And, you know, it's sometimes it doesn't seem like it's very academic content, but it's a really great primer for everything else that we're trying to teach and for everything else that, you know, even for financial literacy, like you first have to kind of have a positive mindset in order to embrace some of the principles and understand why it's important to save and what are you saving for. You know, you're investing in yourself. So yeah, it was so wonderful to see all of the great feedback that we had from that tour. And it's just funny because it's right, you know, it's in your backyard for most of you. We have a teacher that we work with, and she said, yeah, I want to bring this to my school. And then the word spread from there. And, you know, he was at a different school every day, and he's going to come back in April and do 2 schools a day. So, yeah, I can definitely share that information so that you guys can see, you know, what teachers said, what students said, and what administrators said as well.
And I also was thinking, for those in our work that are not school-based, you know, who work with young people, but not in a student capacity, whether it's, you know, Boys and Girls Clubs or Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, you know, there are so many 4-H, you know, all of these different things, organizations that are dedicated to that age group, right, 11 to 26, and providing them with enrichment opportunities that are beyond the academic classroom. And so one thought that I had, because I work with so many libraries, hundreds of libraries, that it's often a very difficult age group to engage because they're not a captive audience and they have so many options available to them and so many demands on their time. You know, And so as a Girl Scout troop leader of 8th graders, 13, 14-year-olds, it's really difficult to get them all in the same place at the same time because they're on the competitive swim team or the soccer thing or the dance or the, all of these different things. And I know libraries, that's an age group that is a challenge, right? They like to do programming for tweens and teens and early 20s, but it's difficult to get them. So I was thinking to myself, what if, and this isn't necessarily a question to you, Morgan, it's just me thinking aloud, is that, what if a group of Michigan libraries said, we'd like to engage fees speakers, and maybe we do it collaboratively so that if we say, the first Sunday of the month at 2 p.m., we're going to do this, web-based, and all promote it collectively as our own program. So, you could have a library in, let's say, Kalamazoo, and a library in Wixom, and a library in Detroit, and a library in Marquette, which is the Upper Peninsula, who come together and say, we want to do this, entrepreneurship series, or we want to do this, other, whatever it is. You can have students thinking that they're attending their local library program, and they are, but there might be other students in the room who are from other places. I don't know, I'm just thinking, and I'm thinking the same thing with Girl Scouts, right? Like Girl Scouts, I've organized a lot of events over the years that were financial literacy based, like Nad's Money and, other things, but I would open it up to other troops because, my 6 girls aren't enough to do a big program, but yet if I got, from other troops in the area, I'm just thinking the in-person model could work in some instances, but also the online model could work for other, collaboratives, basically, like working as a co-op almost to reach the numbers necessary, right? The participation numbers to make it, fiscally responsible for you guys to do it. So
no, we work with groups who do that kind of like blended learning thing all the time. So, their students are in person, but then they're joining an online program, and, we have multiple groups who are joining from physically different locations, but they're all joining the same online program. And that's that, you're right. That is a great way for us to be, like you said, fiscally responsible. I really like to work with, when I work with schools, a lot of times if I'm working with a teacher and, we have a presentation in 3rd period, I'll say to them, is there anyone else who has a class 3rd period that would want to join this presentation? So we can basically get 2 classes with 1 presentation. And again, that's you make a great point about community groups. We don't have to work with teachers. We don't have to work with schools. When I say students, I mean like any adolescent, any young person from 11 to 26 in any capacity that you, or any, relationship that you might have with them. Even if you're a parent and your child is very popular and they have 14 friends and you want to invite them all over and say, oh, I'm going to give you guys some popcorn and a movie, and you trick them into hosting a financial literacy workshop, that's totally fine with us. You can come to us as a parent, you can come to us as a troop leader, as a youth group leader, as a, synagogue small group leader, whatever it is, library, again. Yeah, we love to work with libraries. It's really fun. It's not something that I get to do a lot, but I do really like to do that when I have the opportunity. So yeah. And again, the bottom line is that these resources are all free to you, no matter what your job is, no matter what capacity you come to us. Thanks to, our generous donors who think it's important to get this content in front of young people, we're able to do this for free. So that's the bottom line. And if you have any kind of need for anything like that, please think of us, and, we'll do whatever we can basically to make it work. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us. I know it's very early in the day for you.
No problem.
And I do have a 9:30 commitment. So I just want to make sure that if, Lacey, I see that you're on the call. If you have any questions or updates that you want to give quickly, or Kirsten, I see Janet's on the call still. And Dawn, great. Good to see you, Dawn. You and I should connect offline about some stuff. Anything else, any questions or comments or updates, please take this opportunity if you haven't had a chance to speak already this morning.
Hello, everyone. This is Lacey. I don't have any questions, but great information. I'm excited to share with some of the partnerships we're building. So hopefully we'll get some good responses.
Cool. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Morgan. That was really helpful, and I'll be reaching out to you. I think Derek probably mentioned your name to me, and I probably have it in notes. I've been out, so I've been trying to catch up and stuff. But also, Kelly, I want to give a shout out to Lori, MSU Lori, because I
Yes.
attended her Build Your Future webinar that she did, what was it, Monday night, Tuesday night, and shared the love with my team. And I think we have some other folks from KRISA who may jump on to hers that she's having today or tomorrow. So just want to give a shout out to the work that they're doing
Yes.
at MSU too. So
Yes, fantastic. I hope I'm going to see you next Wednesday. I know.
I'm hoping. I'm working
Okay.
on it.
Okay. All right. All right, folks, if there's nothing else, thank you so much for being here today. And as always, if you have questions or thoughts about future topics, this is a professional development opportunity for all of us. Every month we can bring in a different topic, a different speaker. If there are things that you want to learn more about, please email me. If you want to be connected with Funding the Future or FEE or anything that we talk about here, mifinancialwellness@gmail.com. I think people find I'm very responsive. Email is a good way. I have some kind of wonky hours, so I'm usually working extremely early in the day, and email allows me to get to everyone in the most efficient way possible. So thanks again for being here, and I will see you in April. Take care, everyone.